Feels a little weird to be here on Cricbuzz Live even before it's time for a Cricbuzz Combox, but that's what has happened. England has won with, what is it, 70 balls to spare, right? 70 balls to spare. They won it with more than half their quota of deliveries to get it done. That's because West Indies had only got 55. So England was going to get the job done quickly. They got it done quickly, but they seem to have got it done a little sloppily, a little sloppier than they would have liked to do it. They lost the 4 wickets. Definitely didn't have to lose one to a run out, but they've lost the 4 wickets, so got the job done. This is Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me, Simon Doull and Dinesh Karthik. DK, fair to say that a little sloppier than they would have liked.
Yes, I think they lost 2 wickets too many, I thought.
Yeah.
But you also have to take into consideration, I feel, looking at the wicket, it's not that easy to bat. Like Lion Livingstone's wicket, it kind of stopped on him, turned a bit. He played the ball. It's the right shot. He played the ball as the leg stump. He looked to play to long on, leading edge. So it says that the wicket is slightly hard. The teams need to be very aware of their strategies now if they're playing on the wickets that's slightly off center and to wide.
Yeah, hey, listen, but you can't take away Akeal Hussein's catch that with Liam Livingstone. Listen, I'm already calling it as one of the contenders for catch of the tournament. Dooley, you are the one who sees the future. You are the soothsayer, the foresighter, the crystal baller in our midst. Tell me if I shall be right or wrong.
Well, we've seen 2 crackers today, haven't we? The one from Adam Markram was brilliant down in Abu Dhabi this afternoon. I think Akeal Hussein's is better. I'm going to say there will be one better in the tournament.
Ooh.
Keep an eye out for it.
All right, so it's going to be the top.
There will be one better. It's a little point of contention, though, isn't it? Always, those catches are always a little point of contention. Now, if the third umpire's soft signal has given that not out, that would remain not out. Yeah. Because Chris Brown was looking for evidence, right? He was looking for evidence the whole way. If the umpire's soft signal had been not out, it would have been not out, and it would have been such a terrible, terrible decision. There's one of the things that I have a real bugbear against. That now, when you read the laws of the game, and I see people all over it on social media already, read the laws of the game, okay? The laws say grounded. Grounded means the ground, not touching a little piece of grass, not a bit of grass poking through the fingers and touching the ball. All right, so just think about that. What is underneath that bit of grass, that much grass, remember, because your fingers always sink into the grass, that's the ground, this bit here, not this bit here, not the stuff in the middle, not the grass. So just think about that when you're watching those catches. His fingers were clearly underneath the ball. It is out all day, every day. If that had been given not out, it would have been an absolute travesty. So just think about that before you jump on social media and say, I saw it hit the grass, or I saw it hit the ground. You didn't see it hit the ground. You saw a couple of bits of grass poking up through, and they might have touched the ball. So just think about that before you jump all over people on social media, please.
I love that you're trying to appeal to people's good sense on social media. Good sense and an idea of what facts is. Social media, Dooley, it's so sweet that you think that they listen. It's sweet of you. It's so naive and sweet. I like it. A good-hearted Simon. Please don't disappoint him, all of you. Please don't. But DK, tell us, this is a great, I think this is probably the most interesting thing that has happened in this chase. But, because there's always that we talk about, it's you're seeing a 2-dimensional image of a 3-dimensional activity. That's one. And second, you're not seeing it from ground level because the cameras are all kind of a little higher. No matter where it is, it's still a little higher than ground level, than eye level. You, of course, see it from eye level. And these kind of catches have been happening a lot more now than probably they did, a few years back when Simon was playing. So they're happening more now. And you've always got this vantage point of being behind the stumps and kind of seeing it almost the same distance as the umpire sees it. It's not a correct representation when you see it on camera, right? The umpire knows. They have a better idea, even if it's an outfield catch.
Yes, more often than not, if it happens within the 30 yards, the umpire has a very good idea of it. I think a lot of the times they do know what has happened. They can get a decent vision of it. But, with technology in place, you might as well use it. You have 16 cameras around the ground for most good matches. So, that's a lot of angles to cover. And more often than not, you will see that you will get the, almost right answer. It's impossible to be perfect because unless you have a camera underneath the ground, you can't exactly say where the ball is hit or what.
Don't give them ideas, bro.
But for the moment, with whatever videos we saw, Dooley was perfect when he says the law says grounded, and if there is conclusive evidence to say that the ball has been grounded, then you can overturn the decision. That's why the soft signal came into play to say, what have you all seen, umpires? Just let us know, because sometimes even after seeing various angles, we're still not so sure. So if you feel there is an opinion on it, please let us know. But if there is conclusive evidence to say, no, what you're saying is kind of wrong, what we see is, if for sure this has happened, then it goes, then the third umpire overrules the decision. Otherwise, they stick to what is being said by the umpires. If it is within the 30 yards, I think it's a good rule. If it is beyond the 30 yards, then it's a hard one for the umpire, because a lot of the times he can't see something that's happening that far. And then the soft signal becomes something kind of silly, because umpire doesn't know. He's just shooting in the dark in many ways.
Yeah. It's a bit of a slope on a lot of grounds as well, which people who watch on television don't realize. Like when you go to Ranchi, and DK, you'll back me. Sorry, I just want to tell you, Dooley, in Ranchi, once I was standing on one side, and you could, on the other side of the ground, you could only see the guy's head. Like that's the kind of slope that you have in Ranchi. And some grounds are really like that. Like Lord's is famous for just kind of sloping one side. People don't realize what it is. So for an umpire to actually see an outfield one perhaps becomes a little difficult. Sorry, Simon, you were saying?
No, we were talking about this exact thing the other night, actually, and talking with a couple of people from the ICC about this exact situation, DK. I brought up that very point that you just made, and I feel that almost needs to be a 30-yard law. So anything inside the circle, the umpires make the decision. They make a soft signal. Anything outside of that, it just goes straight upstairs, and the third umpire gives you his best opinion. The umpires then have a chance to come together while it's upstairs, and they discuss, and they go, look, what do you think? Well, I feel he got his hand underneath it. Yep, I do too. So if it comes back to us and he can't make a clear decision, we're going to give it out. If it comes back to us and he says it's definitely out or it's definitely not out, then we don't mind. But I think it gives the umpires a chance to have a little discussion rather than them making a soft signal straight away. They can have a discussion and say, look, this is what we think. That's fine. It's upstairs. The guy upstairs is sorting it out. If he says out or not out, we stick with it. If he says, unsure, back to you guys on the field, they say out, not out, whichever one they thought it was. I don't mind that at all.
That's a good point. If it's in the 30-yard circle, go with the umpire. If it's out on the boundary, I don't know. Can you recruit the first row in the audience? Can you recruit some guys over there? Any guy who's not had a beer. Any guy who's not had a beer, please help us with that.
Phone a friend.
Phone a friend, that's right. Give us, or just have votes. I think that's how interactive cricket is going to go. DK is like, dude, no, that's not how I want to play. Everybody has voting pads with them. Was that out? Yeah. Let's press out. Okay, well, we do want to talk about this game. We've got, it's not much to talk about here, but let's have a look at the West Indies bowlers. They didn't have anything to defend. I mean, this game was pretty much over. When they lost 6 or 7 wickets in their batting effort. But still, the paperwork had to be completed. The formalities had to be done. Akeal Hussain picked up 2 wickets, one stellar catch for 24 runs. There was Ravi Rampal picked up 1 wicket for 14. There was 1 run out of Moeen Ali. I remember watching it, and when he ran, I instinctively exclaimed, "Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going?" And yeah, he did end up going too far. And of course, Kieron Pollard also came in and bowled a bit. So just your opinion on the bowling, DK. The little that we saw, we only saw close to 8.5 overs, but from the bowling that you saw, especially of Akeal Hussain, what did you make of it?
First, I wanted to speak about Akeal Hussain. Even if Dooley has spoken, I've taken a moment to speak about him because, after the CPL, he got on a flight with the rest of the boys who were coming for the IPL, joined KKR as a net bowler. Him and there's another guy, a big unit called Odean Smith. These two players did come with us, and lovely guys. Akeal Hussain really works hard on his cricket. He's a good left-arm spinner, can bat a bit, and I'm happy he got an opportunity. Fabian Allen obviously got injured. He's a terrific cricketer as well. Bad luck to him. He was all-rounder in the team. He got injured, so he got this opportunity, and he's grabbed it with both hands. Bowling to Roy and Butler in the power play with just 2 fielders out is a very hard effort, and I think he did really well there. And after that, obviously, he picked up a couple of wickets on top of that. So it feels good to see him do the way he's doing. I thought overall, the bowling unit was really good. McCoy bowled really well, even though he didn't get wickets. Rampal looks a little rusty for me, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes forward in this tournament. But overall, what's interested me in all the 4 innings that has happened so far is some interesting bits of captaincy. Very, very attacking, very positive. They've done a really good job as leaders today.
Yeah. Just on Ravi Rampal, Simon, because what is he? He's back in the team after 7 years or something? Is that he's back in the team after a really long time? And I don't know. I'm just a little perplexed, right? How you just get someone into a World Cup after them not being part of the outfit for 7 years, with Jason Holder being in the reserves.
It surprises me a lot. I mean, he hasn't even been in the mix throughout the West Indies played 21 T20 internationals, I think, or 21 T20 games in the 12 months leading up to this World Cup, and he wasn't involved in any of them. Wasn't involved in the squad, wasn't part of any extended squad, nothing. So to select him out of the blue from a pretty good CPL, but it was a CPL where he bowled a lot of cutters. It wasn't really swinging the ball up front much, bowled a lot of cutters because the surface sort of dictated that that's what he needed to bowl. So maybe that's what they're looking at here and saying, well, we need that sort of guy. We need that sort of bowler in our squad. Their issue is genuine pace. Obed McCoy's tall, big left armour, but he's early to mid 130s. Late 130s on a good day. Rampal is late 120s. So they don't have any real genuine pace in their lineup. They could play O'Shane Thomas, but to me, he's just a little bit behind the 8 ball. So, that's going to be their issue. And, I know he's a great mate of Kyron Pollard's. I don't think that's why he's selected. Some people in the Caribbean certainly feel that that's why he's been selected, because he's one of great mates of the captain. But I don't see Phil Simmons being that sort of guy. He wants a team here that can win a competition. So, you just hope he'll improve with the run. Just a quick one, though, on those two gentlemen that DK mentioned. Great characters, really good. I love Akil Hussain. Took an unbelievable catch in the CPL. If you can go back and find that, just Google Akil Hussain CPL catch. Took an incredible catch on the boundary. And Odeen Smith is a bloke that I just about guarantee you now, without giving it away, and DK probably already has, at the auction next year, he'll get some money. He will get some money. Smacks at miles and bowls at 145 Ks.
You know what I call it, right? We're getting big money in the auction. Paddle party. It's going to be a paddle party for that guy. It's going to keep coming up. It's a paddle party. Can you imagine? I mean, 30 years ago, if somebody, DK, I know you were not born then, but can you imagine 30 years ago, if somebody had said these words, the problem with West Indies is that they don't have genuine pace, right? You would have probably get stoned out of the city. You're like, throw him, crazy guy, run him out of the town, right? But that's what has happened. These strange things happen in the world, man. Yeah. Apocalypse is coming. Apocalypse is coming. Run. All right. So basically, England's got the job done today. You had Australia who got the job done today. England, of course, more definitively. Australia, they will also look at it and say, geez, we shouldn't have made such a mountain out of what could have been a molehill. But the fact is that they won. And that's what's important, especially in this group, because it is a hard as nails group. You're just going to take that win and you're going to say, thank you very much. England, of course, they may have lost the wickets, but that doesn't affect net run rate. Only the number of overs, number of deliveries that you get it done in. So obviously they've got a big booster shot to their net run rate today, England, by winning this in 8.5 overs. Here's what the points table looks like. And I told you, booster shot, make it 5 booster shots. Look at that net run rate. It's like +4 almost. That's insane.
It's a great start to the tournament, isn't it? I mean, that's exactly what they needed to do. I know they would have wanted to have done it quicker. They would have wanted 1 or 2 down, but they got it done. And it's an incredible start to the tournament. When you get your run rate up that high, you have to play really badly to sort of get it back down amongst the masses in that sort of just early pluses, +1.
Yeah. That's amazing, right? A +4. Then you're just like, all right, we can afford to win a few like Australia won against South Africa today. We can afford to win a few like that. Just get the job done now.
Yeah, definitely. You're absolutely right. I mean, when you get your run rate so high, more often than not, if you win 3, you should find your way up. If you win 4, then with this run rate, you're surely going through. So, I think England obviously have played good cricket, but I'm sure they will be thinking deep down that they can bat a little better. I think you used the right word there. A bit sloppy for their liking.
Yeah. So, well, they got the job done today. England and Australia, both of them have got the job done today and have put themselves on the points table. I'm going to ask Simon, I'm going to give them a minute to just tell me their moment of the day. It can be anything. It can be an elongated bit of play that you found amazing, a moment, something funny. It doesn't even have to be cricket related. It can be anything. And while they think about that, I'm going to show you the games that are happening tomorrow. You do know, you only think there's one game happening tomorrow. The whole world thinks there's only one game happening tomorrow, but there's actually two. So please spare a thought, right? Spare a thought. There's two other teams playing as well. There is, of course, the big India-Pakistan match. Yes, of course there is. But Sri Lanka and Bangladesh are also playing. That's the match that's happening at Sharjah. So Sri Lanka and Bangladesh both playing at Sharjah. Jeez, DK, that's juicy for both of them, because if there are two teams that can really, really optimize that Sharjah surface, as we've seen it in the IPL, it's these two teams.
Bang on, GK, bang on. And I think, we keep talking about a lot of teams, but I do want to speak about Bangladesh, and I'll tell you why. That's the only team which is playing all their 5 matches as day games. So they decide their own fate every time they play a day game. The dew won't be a factor. So if they do end up playing good cricket, that gives them a great chance of moving forward in this tournament. Consistently in the last 4-5 years, multi-nation tournaments, they've always come close where they're within touching distance of getting to the knockout stages or semi-finals, but they just falter before that. This time, obviously, they didn't start well, but they've found momentum now. Albeit it being against 2 lowly ranked teams, I think they've still got some confidence going. If they can beat Sri Lanka tomorrow at Sharjah, it'll be a great start for them.
So, Dooley, you know why DK is being so nice to Bangladesh, right? Because the most viewed video on YouTube, right? You've got a fair bit of comments and trolling from that side of the border, right? He's trying to make amends. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to win. He's trying to win a little bit of audience over. We see what you're doing, brother. We see what you're doing.
That's what this is all about. That's what this is all about. Just, getting fans, winning people over.
That's what. And DK does a really good job of that. He really does. All right, let's have a look at the Bangladesh squad and get you boys in on, where there could be a little confusion and who's the surety and, who it would be a travesty to drop. Anything. Thoughts?
Well, Shakib's been brilliant, hasn't he, in the build-up. Mahmudullah has finished a couple of games off for them. That's the key for them. Mustafiz, on these sorts of surfaces, I see him playing a big role, particularly in those afternoons games, as DK talked about. We might see the pitches just slowing up a touch, but they've always got a very good spin bowling attack, and that's going to be the key throughout this tournament, I think, for them. Afternoon games, no dew, no wet ball, get those spinners into play, whether they decide to chase or whether they decide to put runs on the board and then use the spinners as it maybe slows up in the second half, in the second innings. They've got all bases covered. And I think the two genuine quicks in Mustafizur and Tuscan Ahmed will do a job for them. And then the spinners just take control through the middle stages, and they might need the Fizz and Tuscan to bowl maybe 3 at the back end as well. So their key will be putting enough runs on the board if they bat first, and getting something out of those openers and not relying too heavily, particularly on Shakib and Mahmudullah with the bat.
Yeah, DK, I mean, you're definitely seeing them go with 12 overs of spin, perhaps even more. Take a few from Tuscan and the Fizz and say, all right, guys, thanks. You did it in the beginning, but that's it. We're just going to kind of just go spin on a low and slow Sharjah surface.
I mean, absolutely. I do think they have some good spinners, but let's not forget they have 3 good medium pacers. Mustafizur, who's very, very effective on a Sharjah wicket. I played him there. It's very hard to play him. I can promise you that. Then there's Saifuddin, who bowls a very good outswing with the new ball. And then there's Tuscan Ahmed, who bowls a very sharp ball as well. He goes for runs, but he has the potential to pick up wickets. So they have a good fast bowling attack, not the worst one going around in the comp. When it comes to spinners, obviously Shakib dominates it. And then you have a Mehdi Hassan, who's an off spinner. It'll be interesting to see how much he can bowl against right-handers. In Sharjah especially, it's a slightly smaller ground, so that's going to be very tricky for them. Obviously, they have Mahmudullah as well to chip in if they need to. What they need to do well, which they haven't so far, is bat well. They're consistently dependent on a few individual players doing something brilliant. If they can bat well together as a team, it'll give them a great chance moving forward. They played 2 games in Sharjah, one against Sri Lanka, one against West Indies. If they find a way to win these 2, then they have to just win 1 out of the other 3, and you never know. They'll be within touching distance again.
DK, tell me about batting on this Sharjah surface, because while we were watching it, it seemed really hard.
It is. So what happens in Sharjah is, in other grounds, when somebody bowls heavy balls into the wicket, basically heavy balls means somebody bowls good length hard into the wicket, the ball bounces up to a decent height, which you're used to practicing. So let's say, as an example, it will come somewhere close to the hips. So then you can, dab it down to third man or hit it to sweeper. In Sharjah, what happened is when you go in, when somebody bowls a heavy length ball, good length ball into the stumps, it kind of shoots through. So you're not able to, the bounce is not there enough for you to use the pace of the ball or hit it to sweep or square of the wicket. You have to hit it in front of the wicket, but they all have straighter fields and don't give you those singles. When you don't get those singles as a middle order batsman, then you take a risk to try and hit it over the infield. But because there is less bounce, it is always very, very tough to do that. And that's why you saw so many middle order collapses consistently in the IPL. And you will be seeing that in the World Cup in Sharjah as well. For sure, it's happened in the qualifiers. It will happen again. There will be middle order batsmen struggling for form there, because the toughest thing for a middle order batsman to do is come in and start hitting boundaries straight away on a wicket like that, especially when you can't rotate strike.
Wow, that's a great insight and very well explained, DK. Thanks for that. Dooley, of course, the whole world is I wish that Sharjah curators just surprise the world and say, hey, you were expecting a late September 2021 wicket, but we gave you a late September 2020 wicket. We were hiding it for the World Cup. Bye-bye. Here it is.
No, not going to happen.
The pharmacy outside is not collecting any balls to sell, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Outside the stadium, that pharmacy is not collecting any balls. Yeah.
No, the shops closed down. The hardware stores closed down, sadly. So they're not lining up outside the hardware store anymore either. It just hasn't bedded. And he relayed the top sort of 6 inches of it after last year's IPL tournament, and it just hasn't bedded in enough. And it's just not playing, like it used to play. They're not getting that real good sheen on it, and it's not coming on. DK's point is absolutely right. We showed something yesterday afternoon, I think it was, about the bounce, and almost it's almost 4 to 5 inches lower on average from the same length than Oman, Abu Dhabi, and Dubai. So you're basically, you're talking that, well, that's hitting the middle of the bat compared to hitting the toe end of the bat at Sharjah. Yes. And that's exactly what DK is talking about. Such a good explanation. So what you do in Sharjah, I think personally, and I think teams need to think about this, is you have to be prepared to burn a wicket or two up front. You have to make hay with that brand new ball. When it's getting onto the bat, you've got to really go hard at it. Now, if that means moving a player closer to the top of the order who's slightly more aggressive and burning a wicket or two, so be it. But if you're not 55, 60 in that power play in Sharjah, you're not getting 140. And that's just how it is. Because as soon as they go back of a length, and Kolkata did it as well as any team, I think they picked the seamers. Instead of going too spin heavy, they went with some seamers, and they just bowled back of length. Mumbai did the same thing, I think, in one game against, might have been RCB. They went with Nisham and 4 seamers and just bowled back of a length, heavy length, and into the surface. And, it was very, very difficult.
Yeah, against Rajasthan, as DK is
Rajasthan, was it? Sorry,
reminding us.
Generally, they say when you play in Sharjah, apparently those days when you look at the wicket, there is so much shine and sheen that you could see your own reflection on it. Right now, when you go and see it, you'll see the devil's face laughing at you.
Especially if you're a batter.
Yes, for sure.
I know that so well, DK, because every time I bowled at Sharjah, I used to hang my head in shame as Saeed Anwar and Aravinda would hit me out of the park, and I just walk back and I could just see myself going, "Oh, what am I doing here? What am I doing here?"
Dude, you should just wear your spikes and go try bowling now. You'll bowl probably a maiden over in a T20 for sure. It just doesn't bounce.
Wow. Let's have a look at the Sri Lankan team, and they've got a few people to exploit this as well. They definitely have the guys they have the bowlers to exploit this as well, don't they, Dooley? Sorry, DK.
I think, when it comes to Sri Lanka, they have a very inexperienced side, a lot of them playing their first World Cup. And in many ways, they're playing their best cricket in the last 1 year to 18 months right now. One interesting name there is Charit Asalanka, who's come good with the India series. Obviously, Vanindu Hasranga is their star. Dushmanta Chamira has been brilliant. Both of these guys got picked for IPL. They have a steady captain in Dasun Shanaka. He bowls a bit. He's a better batter than a bowler. He does his bit. Then there are some very talented players. Avishka Fernando has the potential to do well. Kusal Pereira has, flattered to deceive up till now, but he still has the skill sets to do something special. Chandimal, an experienced player. Overall, even though there are a lot of unknown names here, I can promise you this is one of the better teams that Sri Lanka could put up leading into this T20 World Cup. I think they have some very, very interesting bowlers. They are a better bowling attack than a batting unit. So again, when a team is like that, they say batting wins you matches, but bowling wins you tournaments. This team has got a very, very good bowling attack. Again, they play 2 games in Sharjah, let's not forget, so they become that much more potent.
All right, let's Dooley, is that okay? Can we move to the India-Pakistan game now? Yeah, is that good?
Yeah. I just watched Sri Lanka at that ground. I think they're a team that is very, very difficult to beat at Sharjah. The way they bowl, their bowling attack looks fantastic. I think they'll be very difficult to beat at Sharjah. So let's move on.
As much as India-Pakistan is a fabulous game, Bangladesh-Sri Lanka will be a really good game as well. I can promise you that.
I completely agree with both of you. Now can we move to it?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, can we? Oh, Dooley has a line, right? Dooley has a line. Was it? TK? Yeah? Go for it.
DK? GK?
TK. That's right. GK, DK, and TK are moving to who is the big one? Yes, spicy meatball. That is a juicy orange. I'm talking about India and Pakistan. It's match 16. It's being played in Dubai, the same ground that we just saw this evening's game between England and West Indies happening. I guarantee you there's going to be no 55-run innings for sure. It's going to be a slightly higher scoring encounter than that. My question is that can India keep their unbeaten streak against Pakistan in World Cups? Because DK, I mean, law of averages, all those things, stuff happens, right?
Come on now. I'm very, very, very confident India will have a fabulous day tomorrow. And I'm not saying it just...
Reverse jinx.
No, please. Oh, reverse jinx. Great. Then maybe India will find it hard. Yeah. But on a serious note, I think India obviously are the more skilled team, more talented team. And the fact that they've been in UAE for longer, they have the upper hand. They're a very solid, well-oiled, well-rounded unit. I think they'll definitely, if they play to their potential, they'll dominate it. Even if they don't, I think they will scrap a victory tomorrow.
Selection dilemma. And India has an interesting selection dilemma because it's a problem of plenty. How do you get the best, most optimized 11 out of this, Dooley? Geez, I don't want to be the guy selecting that 11.
Look, it's terribly difficult. Do they just go with 5 bowlers and use Kohli? I mean, the skipper bowled a couple of overs in the warm-up game. I saw that. If Hardik Pandya is not bowling, I'd rather the insurance, but I just don't see them doing that. I think they'll play Hardik no matter what. And, Virat will have to bowl if worse comes to worse. The only issue would be if somebody got injured. Otherwise, he's just probably going to make his 5 bowlers bowl their 4 overs apiece. Bumrah's an absolute given. Chakravarti, obviously, Ashwin, the way he bowled the other day is definitely going to play. Shami, and then pick one. Do they go with Bhuvi? Do they go with Shardul?
It's a tough one. That's it. It's a tough one. DK, just want to ask you a quick word about Varun. I know you chuckled but Simon attempted it. Chakravarti is a hard surname to go with.
Absolutely.
We got pretty close to it. But
I thought he was going to say Varun, actually.
Yeah, Ken, he could have gone for the easy one, but he didn't. We appreciate that, Dooley. Well done. Even I'm going to go with Varun. Chakravarti is hard. But can Varun even bowl if you're not chatting with him in Tamil from behind the stumps? Can he still? Have you seen him bowl without that? Can he do it? He can, right?
I would hope so. We will know tomorrow.
We don't know.
But I just want to say out 11 that I thought of that I feel the Indian team would play. I think they should open with Rohit and KL. Pat, Virat Kohli at 3, Surya Kumar 4, Rishabh Pant 5, Hardik Pandya 6, Jadeja 7, Shardul Thakur 8, Bumrah 9, Shami 10. They have a choice between Bhuvi or Shami at number 11. That's what I thought.
No, I think
Varun Chakravarti. I missed Varun Chakravarti. I'm sorry. So Varun Chakravarti 9, Bumrah 10. Between Bhuvi or Shami will be a choice. Or they could go Bhuvi or Shardul. But I still feel Shardul is in great rhythm. Very confident. He has this knack of picking big wickets. So I would definitely have him in a big game like this. Even in the IPL final, the bugger came and turned the match around on its head. And I don't like him for that. But for the moment, I genuinely wish he does really well tomorrow if he gets a gig. And he's in really confident space. I can tell you that. Normal days, he's a confident guy. Right now, he's probably flying in the air somewhere.
Yeah, and that's so important, right, DK? I think we discount the value of just the the zone a guy is in, right? Forget about anything else. Is the guy having, which is why I think the Chahal conversation came up so much, right? The IPL, you could tell that he was, in the zone. The Sunil Narayan conversation has come up, for West Indies, Faf for South Africa. These conversations come up because of that. And that's why I'm going to ask a controversial question, because you have Ishan as a wicket-keeper as well. That guy's been in some serious hitting zone, right? He's been in some serious hitting zone the last few games, striking 200 going. I mean, I don't know. If it comes down to Ishant or Rishabh, yes, I know that Rishabh is the incumbent, right, so to speak. But is anybody an incumbent in a T20 game these days?
Nobody. KL Rahul was number 2 batsman in the world. When he had 2 or 3 failures against England in the home series, they dropped him. That's the beauty of this England team. Nobody is incumbent. Everybody has to fight for their place. But even though Ishan Kishan is batting like a dream and batting really well, come on now, the way KL Rahul is batting, every team is fearing him. You ask anyone.
No, I meant over Rishabh. I meant Ishan or Rishabh. If you did that.
Oh, no. There is no question that if Ishan plays, he has to open. There is no other spot for him in this batting order. And I say that because, the reason why he was dropped in Mumbai Indians was because he was batting at 4, and I don't think he enjoys it as much as he bats, as much as he likes opening. I think having a field up, he really enjoys it. He gets going. It's a different feeling when you cross the power play and then you play the spinners. Whereas you walk in straight and you see 7 fielders outside, it's not easy. It's a hard work. It's a completely different ball game, and that's why we have the Jadejas and the Pandyas. Definitely, Rishabh Pant is a much better batsman than Ishan Kishan at 5. There is no doubt about it.
Excellent. Well, that's
so Rohit doesn't play then. So Ishan opens and Rohit doesn't play.
Dooley,
what do you do?
Dooley.
He's trying to wind us up, man. Don't fall for it.
No, Dooley, don't do that. You got enough trouble that is the day after when New Zealand play Pakistan.
We'll come hard at you, bro. We'll come back. Dear. Yes. Let's have a look at the Pakistan team as well. Solid team again, right? Your guys, your impressions on that, Simon? Your 11, perhaps, if you want to, or the bowlers?
Yeah, Baba and Mohammad Rizwan at the top. Fakhar Zaman probably at 3 where he's been. Hafiz and Haider Ali. I don't think they can play Hafiz and Shoaib Malik together. You don't need an 80-year-old running around and 2 people. That can't happen. Harsh. So I don't think they can play the 2 40-year-olds in the same team. So I would go with Hafiz and Haider Ali. Asif Ali, Imad Wasim definitely, then Shadab, Hassan Ali, Harris Ralph, and Shaheen Shah Afridi.
DK, today Dooley said something like that about Chris Gale, and now he's gone about Hafiz and Shoaib. He's being ageist today. He's got a problem with 40 plus. What's going on with Dooley? Yeah, young man, come on.
Come on, Dooley. You're being very harsh on the.
Is the 50th birthday coming up?
Experienced players, if I may say so.
I watched them both in the CPL, and I've got to say, Shoaib Malik was really bad. Eyes were gone. Really struggled. I know he had one very good innings in the recent T20 series in Pakistan in their sort of the tournament that they played when the England series was cancelled and the New Zealand one was cancelled as well. But I just watched him enough at the CPL to think I couldn't have the 2 of them in the same team. They both struggled to get going early on, and I just couldn't have the 2 of them in the same team. So they have to make that choice, I think. And because Hafiz can bowl a bit still, then that's why I would go with him.
I mean, you'd go more than bowl a bit. I mean, I think he bowled the 20th over against in a game against England, didn't he? I think he bowled the 19th or the 20th when England were chasing. So, I mean, obviously battle hardened. Throw him in a high pressure situation and he will shine like a diamond. But DK, any omissions or any other inclusions you'd make?
Interestingly, Pakistan have been so confident that they've announced a 12, and I can see the batting order what they've put out. So they've put out the opening would be Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan. Dooley was absolutely right. At 3, there'll be Fakhar Zaman. He is the only player who has a bit of power in their batting, so to say, in the top 3. At 4, there will be Mohammad Hafiz. At 5, I'm very sure they'll play Shoaib Malik as well, as much as Dooley doesn't like it. At 6, it'll be a toss-up between Haider Ali or Asif Ali. That's the only question they have. The rest of it is pretty self-explanatory. They'll have Imad Wasim and Shadab Khan as the all-rounders. Then they will go with the 3 fast bowlers, Shaheen Afridi, Hassan Ali and Haris Rauf. So this should be their 11. The only toss-up would be between Haider Ali or Asif Ali. I don't think they would drop both the senior players at this stage of the tournament. And interestingly, if they do end up playing Hyder Ali, then all the 3 players who were put in the last moment will be starting the game tomorrow, which is very interesting.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to say that Ali knocks Malik out.
Good one.
Nice. I don't know which Ali though, but one of the Alis is going to knock Malik out. All right. We're of course that's going to happen tomorrow. So we're going to be here at 3 p.m. Right? We're going to be here at 3 p.m. So join us on Cricbuzz Live in English and in Hindi. I'm doing the Hindi show tomorrow. All right. Join me on the Hindi show. This is really tough for me because my loyalty right now lies to the show that I'm doing. But eventually, my loyalty also lies to me. I'm just so torn. This is such an ideological battle for me. So watch both shows. All of you have 2 screens. I can see it in your eyes. All of you have 2 screens. Watch both shows, right? Watch the video of one and listen to the audio of the other one, right? My face, my voice. You make the choice tomorrow. I'm leaving it on you. Okay, the joy factor question and answer. So there was apparently one second. There's some big news, guys. There's some big news. Professor Joy Bhattacharya, Professor, the pillar of our society, the backbone of knowledge, the storehouse of trivia, the giant among intellectual giants. That's good. That's good. Now I can tell them. Yeah. All right. He actually made a mistake in the question, right? Issued a clarification. There were press conferences. There was a hearing in the United Nations. A lot has happened in the last 8 hours, right? But the correct question is, and the funny thing is that DK actually misread the question and actually did it correct. That's the weirdest thing ever. Bro, I don't know how you did that, but that was amazing. So this cricketer got a Man of the Match award on his international T20 debut, and a current World Cup coach was the wicketkeeper. He got a duck in his last match playing for a different country. Name the cricketer. All right. Let's see what the answer is. The answer is Rolf van der Merwe. Rolf van der Merwe. Van der Merwe. That's how it is. Julie, that's correct, right? Van der Merwe?
Yeah, Rolof van der Merwe.
Rolof van der Merwe. That's right. There you go. I was just reading the name. I didn't even read the rest of the line. It's very difficult. I'm a very slow reader. I'm not a speed reader. But we had people who are so speedy that even with the wrong question, they managed to get the correct answer, because these are just the craziest nerds. Good on you, man. Good on you. Let's see who the winner is. Bring it to me. Shovik Saha, Bong Bandhu. It's just bizarre. It's bizarre, Dooley, how many Bengalis end up winning this. I feel like Joy puts it on some... He puts it on some Bengali kind of quizzing group WhatsApp situation that he has, and somebody gets the answer. There's just too much suspicion. I don't know if you've seen Dr. No or you've read Dr. No. Dr. No starts with this line. Ian Fleming wrote this line. 1 time is happenstance, 2 time is coincidence, 3rd time is enemy action. Right? This has happened about 6 times. Okay, that so somebody from Bengal has won the joy factor question. I call conspiracy. I call enemy action. Something's going on.
Let's look into it.
Let's audit Joy and his question setting and answer collating devices. Let's figure out how that's done. But hey, we're not taking anything away from you, Shovik. Congratulations. No, well done. And congratulations again, because to get the correct answer on a wrong question, to correct the question and then give the correct answer, geez, hats off to you. And of course, well, I was just teasing Joy. You have no idea. I mean, there are people who have committed grave crimes who are not as apologetic as Joy was, just because of one little misprint that he wrote captain instead of wicketkeeper. So yeah, Joy, don't worry. We're just giving you a hard time, but thank you so much for doing this again and again. All right, that's it. That's business. Deke is gone already, hasn't he? We've lost Deke.
He signed up already. He said, no.
As soon as we start, see, this is his loyalty to Calcutta. This is DK's loyalty to Calcutta. The minute we started ribbing Bengali a little bit, did somebody put a microphone off? Who's doing this to me?
On off as well. There's gremlins in the system, GK. Let's go. Come on.
This is glitching too much. That's right. Is it replaying? Is it glitching? Everything is glitching. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching Cricbuzz Live. We really overstayed our welcome. Dinesh Karthik and Simon Doull. I'm Gaurav Kapur. Good night.